to Upstage Downstage, with him, Richard Platt, seated in the upper circle.
And him, Stephen Rees, typically seated in the cheap seat.
This is the Theatre Podcast, where we discuss productions we've seen,
Things we've liked,
and may not have liked,
giving our complete unprofessional
and non-biased opinions.
So grab a brew,
Take a seat,
and let's raise that curtain. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Noises Off in the Round. We saw this production at Stephen Joseph Theatre, Scarborough, on the 16th and the 29th of August 2025. Written by Michael Fran, Noises Off is frequently performed, but Paul Robinson's production marks what is thought to be the play's first ever staging in the round. So Stephen, what's it all about?
This classic British comedy careens along at breakneck speed as Noises Off shows the on and off stage antics of a touring theatre company. We watch as they stumble their way through mounting their fictional farce, Nothing On, from the chaotic final rehearsals before their opening night in Weston-super-Mare to a completely calamitous matinee in Ashton-under-Lyme, which we see entirely and uproariously silently from backstage. We even get to share their final, brilliantly catastrophic performance in Stockton-on-Tees. But in this production, it was indeed Scarborough.
But first, our post-show opinion!
A right royal round of applause for this ridiculous in the round revelry.
A 5-star production of sardines.
So, with all that said, let's
Set the scene!
Right, so Richard, here we are again with our second outing to, second and third outing to Noises Off. Only this time, we're not at the Birmingham Rep, we're at Scarborough in the round. Now, before we start setting the scene, the reason why we came to see this show is because it is set in the round.
Not in a square?
No, it's not.
It's in the round.
It's in the round, and because we know this play quite well, we thought, how on earth are they going to stage this?
From the
How on
minute
earth
we
will it
saw
do
it advertised, we were like,
How?
we need to see this.
Yeah, it's like, how are they going to achieve this? Where are they going to put all the doors? It really did, like,
And as for the sardines,
astound us. Exactly. I mean, they can come from all over the place, to be fair. But to be honest, the fact that the director, Paul Robinson, took this show, I think it was 5 years in the making, I think, from reading the programme, I think. He wanted to do it in the round. And it's never been done in like that before.
are we playing round bingo today?
Yeah. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? How many times I can say it?
Yeah.
In the round?
In the round. People, please take note and let us know at the end of the end
No,
of
it's
the
a
podcast.
drinking game.
Okay, every time I say the round, shot. You stop for.
I just had a creative, bleep. But for not only having the willpower to do it, for the designer, Kevin Jenkins, to come up with how it would look and how they would tackle Act 2. Because that's the one thing we thought of. How are they going to make that happen?
Exactly.
Because of the space and where all the doors are going to go. And thankfully, actually, with them doing it like this, it helped immensely. And I'll tell you why later. But Richard, over to you for a little bit to tell our listening viewers what we saw.
Well,
and that's enough from you. So
yeah, that pretty much sums it up. No, to be fair, I think we were pleasantly despised. No,
disliked, probably.
We were pleasantly surprised by what we walked into, because it's not an easy task to translate something that people know very well to put it in a space that is very unfamiliar almost.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually quite a good challenge for me that they've taken a well-known piece of theatre and thought, you know what, let's see if we can do this and pull it off and do it. So Noises Off is traditionally it's a comedy of doors.
Yes.
Basically. So you've got 3 doors at the top of the set, 3 doors at the bottom of the set, and each door leads off to different spaces in the house, outside, front of the house, into the kitchen, into the bathroom. Actually, it's 7 doors, because there's a bathroom and there's the outdoor door.
And you've got the attic as well.
And you've got the attic as
you
well,
don't
so you don't
necessarily
see
see
the
that,
door. No. Anyway.
Well, some productions might have that.
Some do, yeah. And a staircase. So there's quite a lot of ask in this, when and most of it's set in the one room, as in the front, the reception room, as you could call it, into the main part of the house, where the coffee table is and the set sofa is and everything. So I was very surprised at how they did this, where 2 of the doors were 2 of the entrances off of the Stephen Joseph's round theatre, so they had the front door almost feeling like it's you felt like you were in that room a little bit more in this production, like you were in that front room, that reception room, where the front door with the glass was at one side, the bathroom and the kitchen were off at the other side, and then the study was off at the other side, and then
the study was on the main part of it.
Yeah,
in the office.
So they
on the. Shut up.
No, it's all right. Carry on. They'd still kept the 3 doors together upstairs. So those 3 doors and the staircase were all in the same location. So. Because you need some sort of stability in this because of what happens and the chaos that goes off in it. You couldn't separate those doors as much because the comedy happens between the doors.
Yes, so they had to be a permanent set within a corner of the theatre space.
Yeah, exactly. And then underneath was the study. So when there was some comedy elements that happen between the study and the upstairs off the balcony. So you need that.
And usually in the normal productions, that's the main door with the glass that Selston breaks to get in.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But they put that door and the glass to one side.
Yes, exactly.
And use the office there along with the kitchen and the scullery or something like, because there was like a double door.
It was the
bathroom.
On the other
one
was the bathroom, one was the kitchen off the other side.
Yes.
So that was yeah. And then you got the set pieces on stage, which was a sideboard with a drinks tray with bottles on it, and then you got a telephone table, and you got just a sofa and 2 seats. So and then a big coffee table in the middle with a rug round it, what looked like a rug that was completely underneath the coffee table. I'll come on to that later. But what you've basically got is a country house almost. You're walking into this space that's a wooden floor, very simple, but with the stair banisters, they were quite ornate. And the balcony had got quite an ornate balcony with cut wood and things, so it all looked like that country house. But cleverly built into it were the moments that you got to the second half, but we'll come into that the second act. But we'll talk about that, I think, later down the line. I think.
I thought you were going to say in another episode.
In another episode, no.
Yeah. So that's Act 1, and it's also Act 3. Only Act 3, some of the furniture is positioned slightly, and there's more little bits and bobs on it. But for Act 2, let's describe that little bit in its entirety. So what they do is the 3 doors at the top, they turn them around, and they each pivot individually, and everything gets turned around, so you're basically backstage. So the doors at the side that we had, the main door with the glass that gets broken. During the interval, they move that from the side that it's at to the other side.
Yep.
But you see the back of it, along with the other door from the other side.
Yep.
So, as I've just said, awkwardly, we see the backstage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Only this time, because they move the chairs out of the way, and they turn the middle bit, the coffee table. Once they got rid of the rug, they turn the coffee table into the staircase, which they use to go out through, outside. So whenever the characters are going off to go and get the into the green room or going to get the alcohol or the flowers, they go down those steps to get out of the backstage. So that's the only exit and entrance into the backstage. section, and the coffee table from Act 1, that gets dismantled and turned into other little pieces of props table.
Yeah, so the sideboard becomes the props table that's already lined, and also some of the side walls are actually signs that say "keep quiet, you're on stage," blah blah blah. They get hung under the staircase. The telephone table becomes the stage manager's sound cue desk for the stage manager that's on stage. The rug was good because it looked like it went all the way under that big coffee table in the middle, and actually it just got a big hole cut out in the middle of it.
I mean, why not?
Why not? Exactly. And then the table, there's a little table with the TV on, and that became the axe and the bucket and the fire stuff for next to the sort of exit. So, and just another thing to note, when they flipped the doorways round, the props that were needed for the taps and things that were used in the bathroom upstairs were actually on the other door, so that when they flipped round, everything was in the right order for the production to happen.
Yeah.
And then also talking about the staircase, the reason I mentioned it being decorative prior in the original walk set, they removed all the decorative parts and put railings across, so it actually looked like a backstage staircase. So they changed the look of everything.
And I think that's pretty much where our concerns were based in how they were going to make this transition to the Act 2.
Exactly.
Because on a normal stage, what they do, the curtains come down and then they just either break it in half and turn it, or they twist the whole thing around.
Yeah, it's either in three pieces and everything spins, or one piece, or depending on
how they've constructed it. But this is so many different pieces, with it also being take a drink in the round.
Yeah.
You got me worried about that now. It was how they were going to make this space do it. And do you know what? Whilst we've talked about the set and described it, not brilliantly, but we've done our best, I think this is probably the best version of this show I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the one thing I'd like to say as well is, you mentioned the curtain came down and we don't see that transition. As an audience, had to see the transition if you stayed in the room. Yeah, and they did it with such a the stage crew did it with such a precise almost movements. A ballet or there was timing with everything. It was
I wouldn't say military procedure, but there was some sort of procedure there where they did their bit, and then certain peoples were waiting for somebody to join them to move the doors across.
Exactly.
And I was going to come on to this to say that this was another piece of the production that isn't in the programme.
No.
Because this is a production in itself.
Exactly.
So it was more entertaining because you got to see a little bit of improv from a couple of the actors. You got to see Charlie Ryan and Annie Kirkman being in their characters of Tim and Poppy, who were the backstage crew, being backstage crew along with the actual backstage crew at Stephen Joseph Theatre.
Yeah.
So they were doing a bit of improv with the audience, just for those people who were sat watching this, just to make it more interactive, because when you're in this space, it feels more real.
And it's more intimate because you've almost, you can't hide it away from
people. You can't pull the curtain down and say everybody out.
And the thing is, it's one of those things where some people had missed this because they were more bothered about going and get the wine. But I'm so glad that something in me said,
stay in. Do you say wine or wife?
Well, whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I think I'm just glad something within me said stay and watch rather than go out, because I think I knew it was going to be something that was going to I needed to see.
The thing is, we were just curious about how they were going to do it, so we didn't want to go. We brought our drinks in because we needed to see, just for this show.
Because they could have just took the doorways out and wheeled everything off and wheeled everything back in. But to actually take stuff to pieces, that was, you didn't even know it was going to come to pieces. The sideboard didn't look like it was literally going to become all the backstage pieces for the sides of the stage, and something as simple as lifting the top of a table off and then dropping another one in for the sound cues and all the props and everything on it with batteries built in with lights on them and stuff. You know, they were all very simple, but it just worked really, really well.
I think that's it. I think when you see it and you think, this is so simple, of course. You then think, God, how stupid and thick am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I worried? How on earth are they going to do it? When you see it, you think, oh, of course they're going to do it like that. Why wouldn't they? How else are they going to do it? It's like, why don't we even think?
But it was little things like that wood panelling, where they on the side of the wood panelling they had the you opened it and it had got the like equipment that was hidden behind that was made it look like backstage walls, where there was things on the wall or there was things hung up. All they did was open it and it was enough. It was done.
And they didn't even use that for anything.
No,
it was just there, which was...
It was just backdrop.
Yeah.
You know.
Which...
well, it was used because Annie got to close them right at the end before it started. But it was, that's all that, you know, but it was enough to have that.
Yes, yeah. But... it's funny, isn't it, how we question ourselves, thinking we need to come and see this because we need to know how they're going to do it. But then once you watched it, you do think, well, yeah, of course.
I think the only thing we commented on was the sofa where they just threw a throw over it.
Yeah,
it was like
backstage.
Because it was in the same position.
Yeah,
in the stakes, if you know, even if it had moved
to the other
side or something, it just was still in the same location. So I get it, but then I also think that
I think doing that might have also meant a lot more time in the interval.
Totally,
probably an extra 5 minutes.
Totally,
maybe.
It was just a comment. Yeah. I'm sure it was one of those things that we just noticed that everything else had dramatically changed. That had just
got a throw on it.
Just got a throw.
It might have been the spare sofa. Who knows what happens backstage?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's really, really slight detail that, you know, nothing major, you know. It was not
and again, it's something I'd completely forgotten about until you just brought it up.
I think even to the point of, like, when they remade the set for Act 3.
Yes.
One of the technicians screwed the phone line back into the floor.
Yeah, that was the detail
such
there.
A tiny little detail that I really like, because that's what should happen.
Yes.
Because if it's going to get pulled out of its socket,
into the floor,
if it's going to get pulled out, you want to see it get pulled out of its socket. You know, it should happen.
It needs to be fixed to something as well. So
it's like that physical action of that technician just sits on the knees screwing that in.
Yeah.
It adds that level of when you're...
And proper folded it round as well.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you've got your two actors interacting with the audience while that's happening, it all feels like it's all got a purpose and it needs to, you know.
And
because I think as well, the reason I mentioned that for an attention to detail thing is Noises Off ends up being complete chaos at the end of the production.
Yeah.
Now, with the technical side of theatre, you'd still give them the same as they would have had at the start of the production run.
Yeah.
So the tour would, even though the actors are going all over the place, there's still a constant with theatre crew providing the same props at the same time, and the, you know, don't matter what the cast and the audience do, and the chaos of the actors, they would still make sure that set is how it should be.
Yes.
You know, and that was where the attention to detail comes for me. It's like, you know, that really works.
Yes. In terms of the costumes, set pieces and props, I'd say, well, let's just blanket this and say they were all very good, because we've already covered this. I don't think there was anything, any particular detail that was different or off or anything, other than Gary's costume was very much 70s. You could tell it was set. But I think his costume was the only one that gave us a date, because it was a pinstriped blue, flared suit, blue suit. So that's the only thing that really gave it away in terms of when this was set.
Yeah.
But other than that, everyone's costumes and the props, the amount of sardines and stuff was spot on, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, it had every element of what you expected.
Yes.
You know, I've never really noticed a misstep with the props that wasn't meant to happen.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? There was no real thing that didn't go right, or, you know.
Moving on to our next segment, as we say, we're here for the drama. Now then, here, let's talk about, we can talk about anything really, but I think where we should probably start with, let's just compare our previous show that we went to see. So we saw it at Birmingham Rep on just a normal stage. Because it was one of my favourite plays, I remember being really down about the fact that it just wasn't up to it, and we questioned ourselves.
Yes,
is this play funny anymore? Can we find any humour in it? Because we had the issue with the passing of the axe that didn't really go well. We had the lameness of the cactus being shoved up a bottom.
I think, and I think there was the level of almost, it felt like jobbing actors doing it because they can just walk into this and just do the production, and there was no level of commitment to it.
No, and it felt tired, didn't it?
It did feel tired, yeah.
So when we came to see this, I have to say that all that has dissipated now. My love for this is even more so because they did it in the way they did. It's not just the play itself, because it was intimate and you got to see all the characters all the way around. You saw a lot more by being in the actual show, because that's how it made you feel. But when they did the Act 2 and the tech and they changed everything around, even during the interval, you became more of the show. You became a part of the show. You became that Act 2 whilst you were like waiting for it to start.
Because I think when you step back from this, in the simplicity of Noises Off, it's the same production 3 times.
Yes.
Just you see the change and the difference in characterization and what happens with this group of people that are stuck together for so long.
Yeah.
And what changes in that. And I think in the previous version we saw, the evolution wasn't there. It didn't feel like there was enough time spent on that change, or, and I feel like this just reignited the power of this play, really. Not only to do it in a different perspective, but also just to breathe life and energy back into it as well.
And it really did. And you also got to see the characters from a different angle. I know that sounds really weird, but you really did, because I remember...
Well, we got 2 angles.
No, but I remember talking to you in the car journey back, because the character of Belinda Blair, played by Valerie Antwi, she played what was it? Flavia Brent. Okay, this is going to get confusing, but if we just focus on the Belinda character as the actress, that she was playing, she made it more real and believable and fun, because I didn't realise how much of a gossip that character was. And I said to you at the time, when you're just seeing it flat out on the stage, you sort of like miss it, because it's just conversations at this point.
She was the secret chess player.
Yeah, but she was sort of like the go-between and just moving things along in a way. But when you see it in this, I'm trying to avoid that word, but when you see it in a 3D way,
close up,
you actually see what's really going on.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's because of how wonderfully she played it. But you saw each character's version of their character, and also their character's character, come to light, and you did see the massive change in tone from when they were rehearsing it or performing it to them being them.
Yeah.
Or them being them.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you follow?
Yeah, I do. I think
Does anybody follow?
Like you said about Belinda's the character, until this point, I never realised how almost nudge, wink, wink, like, look over there, that's happening. It's that sleight of hand that was really exaggerated in this, and it was right to do that, because it added so much more depth to that character, and then to also fuel the fallouts, the relationship breakups, the things that were all happening.
Yes.
Because if that hadn't have happened, when you get to the silent scene in the second act, where there's a lot of innuendos and things happening, they make so much more sense, because you've done the legwork.
Yeah.
You've done that work beforehand, as in you've fueled that intrigue of, oh God, now such and such knows about that relationship, and they know about that, and once that seed's being sown to the audience, then that second scene becomes more powerful because it's all about them chasing each other around because the little things that go off. It just makes it so much better.
And also, it's not the fact that you're sort of thinking the director's in charge, but Valerie, sorry, not Valerie, well, it is Valerie, but Belinda is in charge.
Yeah,
Valerie plays
exactly.
Belinda. So Belinda's in charge, and she's the one that's very motherly. She's the one that's saying, oh, but what about such and such? And what about such and such? And we need to be doing this. And she's the one trying to get people back on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
To make it work.
Yeah.
And if you know the play, you know that a lot of these characters are playing stereotypical actors throughout a lot of the shows. And I think her character shone for me in this production.
Yeah.
It's never in any other.
No, exactly.
Because she's just been there and I couldn't quite get to grips as what she was. But it wasn't until seeing it in a more intimate setting that you actually got to witness and be a part of someone who was
because you don't really
making it happen.
Yeah,
she was the one in charge, really.
You don't really
actors.
see, on reflection in the past productions I've watched of it, you don't really see her character as being that instigator or the person playing the starting the arguments, even though she's not involved in the arguments. No. She's not the person having an affair. But she's actually the one that's handed the card over to somebody and gone, just look over there for a minute, or look at, that's just happened, and that's what fuels everything. Yeah. But I've never really seen that side.
I think it's because when you normally watch this, you see Dottie from the very beginning. Yeah,
exactly.
And she's being Dottie with the sardines. And then you see Gary come in, and then you've got the Poppy come in.
Yeah.
No, not Poppy. No, I was right. Brooke come in.
Brooke.
And so you've got a character. So you've got the actor who's sort of like, he can't quite get to grips with what he's going to say and whatever. And then you've got Poppy, who's not Poppy, Brooke.
Yeah.
Whose contacts falls out, and she's really ditzy. She's not really sure what's going on.
Yeah.
And you've got the other actor who comes in who's trying to analyse every bit of movement and make sure that it's right and it's method.
Yeah.
And then Selden, who's, the alcoholic. So really, Belinda is the one that sort of can get lost. But this time, she didn't. And also Lloyd, the director, was brilliant. Him coming from the sides. I mean, it does anyway. He does come from the sides anyway. But he was just so there.
I don't know if you saw the second time we saw it, The second time we saw it, I managed to see where Lloyd sat. And I managed to see him sat with the audience with his feet up on the barrier.
Yeah.
And the couple next to him didn't know where to look, and that for me means you've nailed theatre. When you've got there's an awkwardness of they didn't realise that seat was not reserved. Was nobody sitting in it for a reason.
Yeah,
But I think he used the theatre space really well to use. He didn't just sit. He didn't just instantly come down on stage, and it was he used every space when he was.
And it was very commanding, and it was very. I don't say stereotypical of a director.
I can think of a few like it.
Yes, but the kind of director that takes command, and once he's done, he's off. And I know that's written within the character, but he played it really to its strengths.
Yeah, and I think you also saw that evolution of him as well, because other things happen throughout the production where he reappears.
Yeah.
And you got an elevated version of him. He's not in control of the production.
Yes.
He's more bothered about himself at that point. So you see more of the personality of Lloyd rather than Lloyd the director. You're seeing him have he's more bothered about the fact that he's in something else now, and why should he have to care about this? But actually, two of his love interests are in the room as well. And there's so many things that start to happen that you started seeing that different side to him, and I think that's what this had.
Yeah.
Where some versions of this seem to lose the characterization of the different types of. You're basically playing two different roles all the time in this, and you could detect the two different roles in most of all these characters.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's only the director that was playing himself, really.
But then there's the director, and then there's the one that you've let the production go.
Yeah,
you can't really do much about it now.
He's moved on to Richard III.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. So he's now become an actor in something else. So he's, you know.
But also, we're seeing these actors on stage through his eyes in a way.
Exactly.
Because we're getting just as frustrated as he is with the stop. Just get on with it. We're on in a minute.
Exactly.
And I've never felt that before. But the way it's done, because we're sat around, it's like we said, because we do amateur theatre, we've sat in shows where we've watched dress rehearsals and we're sat ready to either give information or directional bits and bobs on seeing how it flows. And you just want it to be over because like time's ticking, they're going to close in a minute.
Exactly.
We need to be gone. Hurry up.
And I think the other thing we saw was that level of delusion that a lot of cast members have.
Yes.
Where time doesn't matter.
Time's irrelevant.
Time's irrelevant and, oh, but I need to get my lines out. Yeah, but it's 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, they're the things that I felt like you got that disorientation and that disillusion that you were just like in that chaos, you know, because it was, for me, it was like, I always see the techie side of this sort of production, and for when Tim Allgood comes out, he's just fixed the doors, and now they're telling him he's got to put a costume on to be a performer, but he's not actually at anything, and he's not this, and
he's done like 14 hours without sleeping.
Yeah, because
and then once
he was
finished,
the one there opening up before they even turned up, and then
he's got to go do the tax returns.
And there he is running around and doing loads of stuff, and it's like that happens, and that's
really
reality.
Yeah.
And
it's the jobs where you don't get thanked either.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
and I think, you know, that was the thing for me with both Poppy
and Tim,
really. They both gave you that level of chaos, and like they're still managing to push through.
Yeah,
but they're dealing with so much at once.
And what I would like to say is I appreciate the fact that these two actors, they stayed in character, and whilst they didn't have much to do or say within the play itself, because they're only there to do the lesser bits, they gave them their own little production with the interval bits.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that made it because you took them on board like they knew what they were doing. They're part of the crew.
Exactly.
They were seamlessly interconnected with the actual crew at the theatre.
And I think you nailed it when you said on the way home that when they worked with the crew that were doing the set change and everything, that Annie and Charlie were doing the noises on.
Yeah, exactly.
And the crew were doing the noises off with the clipboard. And it was like, it was so specific that it meant so much. You saw it. It was like that was.
I would really have liked to have seen if Annie and Charlie they did have the clipboard saying noises on, and them doing it, and then to see the woman from the St. Stephen Joseph Theatre to have like noises off on the top of her clipboard, because they did go round and that's what I really liked, because they were even like Annie and Tim. Charlie, they were talking to the audience members as well.
Yeah, they were,
especially around the drinks cabinet.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes, and also they worked really well together.
Yeah, exactly.
Really well. You know, when they were like trying to put the flowers on the tabletop and the cloth on the table and moving it around, like trying to up one each other.
The thing is, I've seen so many productions and so many things where people try to do those presets and prologues, and they just throw them away.
Yeah,
and there's still comedy in really small moments of just something well orchestrated like that, and putting the heather on, but there's no vase, but they're still going to do it, and then somebody's still going to move it because somebody's put it the wrong way around. And also, you sort of mentioned the smaller bits that Poppy and Tim do. It's very easy for them to do less when they're doing the parts when they're on stage.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're physically there, they have to do so much to be that linchpin to spin somebody around or stand in the right place or walk back on stage to break that silence or to break that comedy moment. And it's easy to forget them from a directing point of view as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think everybody equally stood out in this production. They all had
they really did. Yeah.
You know, they all had their own role and performance level. So yeah, it was brilliant.
I would say that all these actors were just brilliant in their characterizations, and and it was really well cast. And I really enjoyed seeing the chemistry between Dottie and Gary. So that's Alex Phelps and Susan Twist. For a start, Alex had so much physical comedy, falling down the stairs, hitting his head and moving about, and the way he commanded the stage. I've seen that role I see people play Gary a few times, and it's just doesn't hit. Whereas he definitely hit it, and he made it more funny. And what I loved about it was you had him being Gary, and then you had him playing Roger. Now, whenever Roger was doing anything, he was like sliding about like a crab.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving around. He changed his persona a few times, so you knew which person you were getting, either Gary or Roger. And it's those slight little movements that he makes, because Gary's the actor who's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing, who doesn't actually finish a sentence, but expects you to know it. But then Roger's the one that's moving about really funny and a bit like hamming it up.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's Gary in a way, but he's made
Well, it's
Roger
very almost Fawlty Towers style,
Yeah,
it's
like,
that,
there's not a sardine. Yes,
yeah, it's
there
all
is.
very overacted and, but in a good way. And I think that was, like we've said previously, I think Alex's skill, he set his stall out very early, as in you knew the definition between the two.
Yes.
Very quickly when he started having his little rants and his little comments, and you just sort of knew, now we've got Gary.
Well, we've got a distinct character for both of them, and we saw as it just went from bad to worse with everything, not just with Dottie being not flirted, but he catches her in different situations.
Yeah.
He's cranking up his over-processing
and his anger,
of everything, and his anger. Yeah. It's just going from one extreme to the next. And you do actually see that gradually, but it's just wonderful to watch.
And I think because he'd started it early, where we knew there was two different people. When the moments in the silent where he walked out to act and then walked back in and changed his persona, you knew who he was being at each point, and I think that said a lot. I mean, for me, Dottie was brilliant in.
Susan Twist was amazing. She really was. Because she's the only one that I actually knew going into this. Yeah,
and the thing is with Dottie as well, that's a character that I've seen other people do it, and I don't think they've had the same energy as Susan, to be fair.
I felt Susan Twist just nailed it. She got so much energy, and she got comic timing. She was just the perfect cast for this.
Yeah.
And how she interacted with everybody else.
And so relaxed in the performance. And I don't mean relaxed by being really slow and calm and not putting effort in. I mean she relaxed into the character to the point of you just felt comfortable that she was this Dottie person. Mrs. Clackett was being Mrs. Clackett, and and you could tell.
And she did have a distinct character persona as well. And she even, what I liked was the fact that even as Mrs. Clackett, when she was on the phone, she went a little bit posh.
Yes, exactly.
She did change it slightly, and then until she started unravelling, and then it was like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, when Susan was in the third act getting all twisted around the telephone wire and stuff, that was just brilliant to watch.
It was,
she just made something out of that.
Yeah, and the bit where she had a complete almost breakdown, that was really, really good.
Yeah. And she didn't know what the heck she was doing with dropping the sardines and stuff. There's so much to say, so let's carry on.
I mean, for me, Freddie, as in Andy Cryer, he was brilliant as that role.
Yeah, but the thing is, what gets me is having to jump upstairs with your trousers around your ankles.
Yeah,
I mean, how
exactly?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It just.
I mean, that was brilliant.
I think for me, it was that really leaning into the character that questions everything. That cast member that always has to
we know
ask
them.
extra questions, and you're just say the lines.
Because you do get scripts out there which sometimes don't make sense plot-wise or character-driven.
Exactly.
Like, but why am I carrying this thing into the office?
Because you
why
are.
would I? Yeah, just do it.
Sometimes you can't. What goes off behind the door doesn't need to be discussed because it's more about this.
Yeah. Because somebody else needs to find it and bring it back. But why would I?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, can I just say, Olivia Woolhouse as Brooke Ashton. I think this is her second show at Scarborough because we'd seen her in
Show and Tell,
but she was just fantastic in this.
Yeah, she was.
So much better than the character that she had in the other one because she was actually a techie, really.
Yeah,
she played a poppy in that show. Yeah. And I think it was slightly difficult to gauge her
a very big
out.
Part either in that
production.
No,
not really. So it was very difficult to get to know her as an actress and what her potential was. But in this, playing two roles, she really did portray that
she lent
ditzy
really
person.
Into the ditz, didn't she?
Yeah, and losing her contact lenses and stuff. It was she played it really well.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it was the bit where she's getting into the Zen mode and doing some meditation. Like, while all the chaos is happening around her. And
But what I love about the character in particular is the fact that it's this actor. If you've ever worked with actors or whatever, if somebody goes off script, they stay on script. Exactly. It doesn't matter if you've got a different object in. I haven't got the object that I need, but never mind, we're going to carry on. They still refer to it as that. So when she was like, "Oh, you need to do up your tie or whatever," he wasn't wearing a tie. But yet you saw the contrast with her. Obviously, because I think that character is meant to be like a young one, not quite set into the acting profession. And then you compare that to Valerie, where it's like, "Oh, my husband, where is he? Oh, I'll use this mop."
Yeah, exactly.
And she's talking to the mop as if it's this person. Oh, we'll carry on. Or, oh, look, I've got this brass handle or something. Well, I'm brassed off. She makes something out of that. And I love the fact that, this particular show highlighted those characterizations more.
Really
because
did.
It made me really enjoy this play and this show. It's a shame that it's over, but it just goes to show how wonderful
exactly
it is. And we won't stop there. We also have Selsdon, played by Christopher Godwin.
Yes.
And he was brilliant.
Yeah,
he
was really good,
being a few steps behind, but then he's a typical character of not just drinking, but also forgetting his lines and just ad-libbing. He's used to ad-libbing as well, but
also being able to deal with the choreography of the whiskey bottle.
Yes.
Because for me, that has to be done visually. Everybody has to see it happen. So for it to be moved around so much and him always trying to run off like the naughty schoolboy with the whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
That has to be done right because you want to see that level of. You just want to be able to see that he's basically trying to drink every time he everybody's back's turned, really.
Yes.
And then leaning into not being able to hear things and comic timing and all those things. That all matters.
Yeah. And this then boils down to the direction of it.
It really does.
And I think Paul Robinson has done a fantastic job with this show.
Yes.
Not just getting Kevin Jenkins to do the set, having all the props be made in-house and stuff like that, but also getting it to work in such a way that when you come to Act 2, when they're going off backstage to go on stage, they're supposed to be relaying the show. They're supposed to be giving a performance to the other side to the audience.
Yeah.
But what we got was a couple of sentences, and then it was like recorded lines, just so they can make use of the fact that they have to walk all the way around to whatever entrance and exits they needed to do, or get changed or whatever. But how they managed to get all that, plus utilise the pit of the centre as an exit. I just thought it just worked really well, and it was very clever.
I think for me, it's very clear that they have met and looked at all of this before they even thought about casting it.
Yes.
They've worked out the logistics to an absolute T.
Yeah.
Where they might have known exactly what all the blocking and the movement of that actual production before we've even got to we need a cast. Because pull this off, you've got to do that level of work to what they've achieved, really.
Well, I suppose you need to know how, which is exactly what we asked, was what exits and entrances they actually need.
Exactly.
Now, when we first started talking about this, we were talking about the doors, but what you forgot was, in Act 2, the door for the backstage.
Yeah.
Which, on the normal stage, it's just there. You have the door and they go off into the toilets.
And
or sometimes they have a door for the toilets.
It could have been down that wooden panel.
Yeah.
But then half of the audience want to see the chaos.
Yeah. But any other door through the sides, we knew that all of it was going onto the stage.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the only way they could do that was bringing people up through the middle, or through the pit.
Exactly.
And that was just something extra.
Yeah.
That is like the thing that Stephen Joseph Theatre had up its sleeve.
And it wouldn't even
we can get you in through the pit or through something else.
But it also wouldn't have surprised me if that was the first thing in his mind.
Yeah.
Of like, we need them to be able to go off stage down and below. Then that can then spark the rest of the how you do it. It can be one thought and then it's
a bit like having a trapdoor in the Cluedo set, isn't it?
Exactly.
Or just go through the kitchen and end up somewhere else. It's
exactly.
that hidden doorway, isn't it? Which was utilised really well. I mean, when we sat watching the interval and we saw them all take everything apart, moving the doors about, swapping the doors, undoing the sideboards to make something else, it was like, I was like looking at you, and I think I said that they've got to be moved. They've got to do something with that chest of drawers, not chest of drawers, the coffee table in the middle. It's got to be something. What is it? What's it going to be?
Yeah.
It was the last thing on my mind that it'll be
take the entire
stairs
thing
down.
Off. Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know it exists.
No, exactly.
I think that's one of the good things about when they do shows like that. They make you not just see the play, but see the capabilities of the actual theatre itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that we'd never probably see or have known existed.
No, but also it's a piece of theatre that it actually put fresh life in it. I felt,
definitely.
Because it's very easy to remember to just maybe borrow the set that's already in existence, sat in a warehouse somewhere that you can just shove back on stage because it'll still be there.
Yeah.
It'll still be out there. It's. But sorry, you were going to say.
I was going to say something, but I think I'll save it for a bit later on. So with all that being said, let's move along to What the Tech, I think.
Moving on to our next segment, as we say,
What the Tech is this?
Now, there's something technical I can say to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a lot we can discuss. In one particular scene, you noticed that even the techies were involved up in the box, didn't you? And you had to point to me.
It's possibly one of my favourite moments of this whole production because it's very easy to forget that the techies are involved in the fall down or the demise of the theatre company in the third act, where everything goes a bit wrong. So all the bits went a bit awry, everything went a little bit like, the sound didn't play right and things like that.
It's like the show's on its last legs. Just get it over and done with.
And then you've got Charlie, you've got Tim Allgood making announcements that the production's not starting yet or it's starting, and there's been cast issues and things like that. They're basically playing for time, really. And then we cut to just before it's about to start, the lights are meant to go down. And the technician was playing a Rubik's Cube in the in the box above, and I've never seen that done before. And it was timed to perfection. Not everybody in the audience would have seen it, but as somebody that sat in technicians' boxes and run shows, I really appreciated that level of
detail, really.
Detail. Because
making them be part of the show, and not just the people who were swapping the stuff about.
Because it then gave Tim Allgood it opened the door for him to run up there and then have an argument with him in the box to tell him to start the show, and it was all part of that. It all added to the effect of that crossover between actual real technical crew and actors,
And like I say, it's one to bring them, the lighting and sound and stuff, into the show, because we've seen the people move stuff about.
Exactly.
And they needed their sort of like recompense. But also, I would add that if that was padding, that was the best padding I've seen.
Yeah, but it happened both nights.
Yeah,
it happened both nights. So it was, for me, that was the padding you needed to flesh the production out for it to become something special. I think that was
because they do have it does take a long time for people to get back into their seats in that place, because they've only got one exit and entrance really through that corridor to get seated.
Yeah,
and it's not a big cafe area either.
No.
Any other technical bits and bobs you can think of? I mean, I think we've covered the majority of the handheld stuff, haven't we? But the lighting
was fine. I mean, it was.
They had the typical music cue, didn't they?
Yeah.
And a gobo or something, like a rotating thing on the floor. Well, it wasn't on the floor.
No,
it just shone on the floor. Like it rotated and rewound when they were replaying the tape.
Yeah. And there was where the window was, there was the projection of a window on the floor as the sun coming through, and you got little things like that, but there was nothing overly more technical than that. It's it was a well put together production.
Yeah, they had this smashing of the glass. Yes. That was different, not different, but they also had that, and the perspex that was punched through, and telephone, I think.
Yeah. There was one thing that this isn't the technical aspect. I think it was just I was going to just talk to you about the ending. The final last bit that I thought was maybe went on a little bit too long. So normally, So normally the ending ends with a curtain dropped.
Yes.
On the cast.
Yes.
And the play's over.
Yeah.
I don't know if it went a little bit too long in the ending of this.
Yes,
where
I agree.
They kept showing the audience the sardines, the
everyone was in a shake, sort of a
cases. Well, it was like they were basically running through all the props.
Yeah.
But I think what went wrong, what was a little bit off for me, was the fact that it was just, we're going to show the sardines, then we're going to show boxes, then we're going to show
whatever else
was it cases, and then it was this, and then it was. And I just felt like it went on a little bit too long, where it might have been better if 3 people had have had sardines, to 4 people had have had boxes. They'd have just kept switching between.
They should have just ended on the sardines. Yeah, and then black out.
I could see what they were trying to do, was trying to build something up so it all went into chaos, but it felt a bit too specific. Like it should have just been chaos, And I think.
But I think also we had this issue last time with the play, how it ended anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sort of after that huge build up and crescendo of stuff. Yeah. It just ended, and that's that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's. I mean, fair enough. You can't really go anywhere else, but it just didn't pack that final punch. No. And for this play, whilst it was great, even in the ending, it did go on a bit. I just
felt like you just needed to just go. No, we'll just stop.
Quick punch. Sardines.
That'll do.
End. Yeah. Make it more snappy of a punch.
And now it's time for our rewind rewatch.
Now, incidentally, we did rewind it and we rewatched it again, because once we saw it on the 16th, it was playing on my mind so much that I needed to go back to Scarborough and watch it again, because sometimes you get plays that are so good. You're not going to have these cast again in this show. You'll never see this show like this again.
No.
It's not like a film where you can replay it.
For me,
it won't be on +1 or whatever. You have to go back and see it again, and I needed to go back and enjoy it again.
And from my perspective, and I don't use this lightly, this was an industry standard way of doing noises off. People need to take reference from this.
This needs to be the future.
But I think for me, it's how to reinvest and put some life back into a production that has been done so many times that. But
sorry to interrupt.
Go on.
But before it falls out of my head, we had this conversation about the mousetrap.
Yes.
wouldn't it be nice to see it done in a abstract way?
It would, yeah.
And this is sort of what they've done with this. They've taken something classic, I'd say classic
it is
now,
a classic, yeah,
and turn it into something they've given new life into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Even though the aesthetics are very similar to the original production, it still felt
they laid the table out
invigorated.
different.
Exactly.
That's all they did, and it was a wonderful
and I
thing
think,
to see.
you know, I'd definitely watch it again.
I want to watch it a third time.
I want to watch it a third time.
Yeah.
I also want to give a big special mention to the fight scenes and the work that they'd done for all the fight scenes and all the physical acting and comedy and falling over and all the movement work between them, because I know that they practiced mostly every night before it.
Yeah.
And it showed. It showed that they knew who was going to do what to who, and it was all going to look natural, but actually it was all very well choreographed. Yeah. And I think that, you know, and also massive commendation to Alex Phelps falling over boxers downstairs. Comic timing of walking into things and
making such a big smack that it actually felt so real. Like, oh my God, has he actually done that?
I loved it. I don't know if you saw it, but in the second time I saw it, I loved it when Alex Phelps was banging his head on the door frame.
Yes,
but there was people above him in the audience not wanting to look because they started to feel awkward, and I'm like, that's when you know you've got the audience, because if people are feeling awkward when somebody's losing their mind, then that was it for me.
One thing we haven't talked about too much, but we can just mention here now, is that chaos scene where it was a fight scene with the axe and the cactus and the moving of the alcohol as well. They did all that around the exit in the middle of the floor. Yeah. Now, when we saw that at Birmingham Rep, just on the normal stage, it was quite flat.
Yeah.
It was quite boring.
Yeah.
But seeing it done in a 3D shape right in front of you, that's what brings the energy and
really does.
And the atmosphere and the threat to life, really, because that was just brilliantly played out. It didn't feel hammy or crap in any way.
No, not at all. It had that energy that you were like, oh God, they're going to fall. Somebody's going to fall down the stairs, or
oh my God,
they were so close at some points. You know, it's like, you know, but even the as hammed up as the tying the shoelace scene is.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and the actual, you mentioned the cactus being bad in the previous thing we've seen. The cactus was great in this one, and it had that energy that you needed.
More power to the cactus.
Yeah. And I suppose I've not really talked about the set things where everything was in the right position. So the axe was on the floor in the box by the bucket where the whiskey bottle had gone in, and everything it was all purposefully placed, you know. And I think that added to this chaos, and you know, and I think, you know, because it's very easy to be lackluster on those scenes.
What I want to say, whilst this is a rewind rewatch, whilst I'd rewind and watch it all again and again, I never get tired of this particular production because I just love the cast. I do. There's certain scenes that I really want to highlight here. One particular scene, I think I said about Valerie playing with Belinda playing with the mop.
Yeah.
Brilliantly, and her just acting like that. But that whole situation where they're going berserk and Alex is going sidestepping across the balcony.
Yeah.
I think that's before his tumble or whatever. That's just hilarious to watch. I also love in Act 2 all the actors when they're just about to go on stage. So they've had their argument, and they've had their whatever, and now it's warm-up time, and you see them all going, mum, they're pulling their faces. And I was sat right next to Susan Twist, and she was like ink out all the time, right down that side thing, you know, just shaking about and doing, you got to see everything, and lunging and stretching and doing really weird things that actors do. And as an audience member, if you're not familiar with actors and how they warm up, it can be quite funny and bizarre watching the kind of positions they get into, the faces they pull, and the movements that they do. And I thought that was funny because that was highlighting a typical actor and what they were doing.
For me,
what they do.
For me, it was the silent thing that Valerie did when she crawled out to get the sardine plate
That,
and then put it back.
Yeah, like, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me, it's fine.
But
The show
really
must
look
go
at me,
on.
but really look at me. Cause
I
want some limelight.
Yeah, and she moves the sardines. Oh, no, it should be there, shouldn't it?
So I'll put it back. But
it
was that...
Again, playing to the character of the show must go on.
It totally was. She's
looking after it.
And it is, but... Yeah, I just, I think they're the moments that, they just create so much more.
And another scene is when Brooke loses her contact lens and they all start lifting their legs up one at a time. Yeah. Careful where you tread or whatever. Oh, when she finds it, it's just gone behind her eye. How they did that
exactly.
In sync. I mean, it's funny anyway when it's on like a normal stage, but it just worked so much better.
It really did.
In this. And there's so many more scenes just flooding back that it's just so joyous. I hope they recorded it.
I'm sure they
really
will have
hope
done.
they
I'm sure they will
recorded it for prosperity. Are there any other particular highlighted scenes you can think of?
I think we've covered everything.
I think we have, haven't we? Oh, another
Without
one to mention.
actually acting it, I think we've covered it.
Brooke and Tim doing the 1 minute, 2 minute calls or whatever, and then the
Poppy.
Poppy. Oh yeah, sorry, not Brooke. Yeah, Poppy and Tim doing the 1 minute, 2 minute calls, and then the director comes in. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That always gets like a howl of laughter from the audience because we're sort of like going through it as well.
Yeah.
A technical point of view. On the first time we saw it, we couldn't really hear what was being said through the tannoy. Do you remember that?
No, it wasn't. It was louder in the second time we saw it.
Yeah, but it was a bit muffled in the first one. But then we were sat in a different... We were still quite close.
Close, yeah.
So we were still close to the desk.
Yeah, we were, yeah.
Moving on to our final segment, as we say... Call this a show? Let's sum up. Noises off in the round.
It was a masterpiece. I can't really say much more. I think it evoked everything that Michael Fran would have wanted.
Yes. In
this production. For me, if we'd have never seen this production before and we didn't know anything about it, boy, what a showcase.
Yes. I mean, I know it comes before the play that goes wrong, but how this is done, this is just a masterclass in not just writing theatre and exposing what theatre is about and that whole life of being an actor and doing and actors and all that stuff, but also how to do a show and how to entertain your audience within the intervals, and it had everything. It showed you how to do it because it was a play within a play. Because it was like a play within a play within a play within a play.
Exactly. And for me, anybody can buy one of these scripts. Anybody can spend money doing it, but you've got to get it to do it right.
Yeah.
You've got to get what it means from what perspective you're doing the production. Your cast have got to understand it.
Yeah.
Everything has to...
And they've got to bring the energy as well. And this crew did.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
Yeah. So to sum up for me, this is 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. This is just brilliant. This is the best show of this production I've seen. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's not just down to the direction, and it's not just down to the theatre crew, or the set design.
No.
This is down to the actors as well, but mostly the actors, because they're the ones that brought the characterisation fully.
Exactly.
I just think it was marvellous. I wouldn't say it was a load of sardines, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there with nothing on. Scores then please, Richard, for Noises Off in the Round. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a hilarious show about a farce in the round, and 1 being left with a mouldy old sardine and nothing on. What's it going to be? I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I'd give it more.
I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 too.
2 10 out of 10s too.
2 10 2s.
So, what sound effect will you be choosing from the following? A complete train wreck? Tumbleweed? An audible shrug of the shoulders? A slow clap? A pleasant applause? or a standing ovation? What will it be?
It's a standing ovation from me.
I'm going to give this a standing ovation.
So there we are. That's our discussion of Noises Off.
In the round!
We hope you found it insightful.
If not, entertaining.
Stay tuned as we bring you more of our thoughts
And opinions.
on many theatrical delights in future episodes. If you'd like to get in touch, email us at upstagedownsstagepod@gmail.com. You can always join in the chat to share with us your views of a production.
Also, make sure to follow, share, like and subscribe to all our channels so you get every episode the second it's released. And we hope you join us again for another instalment of Upstage Downstage.
Lots of big words in this. Get my mouth ready. This classic British comedy careens.
I think you did this last time.
I might have done, yeah.
Careen along at breakneck speed. I think you did.
Yeah, sure did. This classic British comedy careens along at breakneck speed. This classic This classic British comedy careens along at breakneck speed as Noises Off shows. I've just got to get the first sentence. So, this classic British comedy careens across. Why am I saying
Along.
This classic British comedy careens along at breakneck speed. This classic British comedy careens along at breakneck speed as Noises Off shows the on and off stage antics of a touring theatre company.
Yep.
Okay. This classic British comedy careens along at breakneck speed as Noises Off shows the on and off stage antics of a touring theatre company. To a completely calamitous matinee in Ashton-under-Lyne, which we see entirely and uproariously silently from the backstage. Which we see entirely and uproariously silently from backstage. We even get to share their final brilliantly catastrophic performance in Stockton-on-Tees. Do you
want to do the first bit and I do this bit?
No, I can do it.
Oh, go on.
Unless you want to. It's up to you. Do you want to do this bit?
We can do, can't we, I suppose?
We can swap round if you want.
Yeah.
On today's episode, we'll be discussing Noises Off in the round. We saw this production at Stephen. So,
a needle pulling thread.
So there we are. That's our discussion of Noises Off. The Noises Off.
You do Noises Off and I say in the round.
Yeah.
Do you know Susan Twist offered me a sardine in the final bit? I know we should have taken it.
She was waving a sardine at you.
She was offering me a plate of sardines.
Was she?
Mm-hmm.
Something fishy about that.
I wished I got to meet her, but never mind. Well, I wished I got to meet all of them. Never mind. I'll stalk them on Instagram. Now, moving on.